Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Dawnbringers, Heart of the Nightfang Spire, Season 4, Episode 11, The Devil in the Details. This is our regular weekly D&D stream happening every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. I would invite you, if you haven't already done so, to hit that follow button up at the top. Make sure you turn on notifications so you know when we go live. Lots of cool D&D streams. We got some new shows coming up. You can type !schedule in the chat at any time to see just what's going on. Lots of D&D, and Dwight and I are well on our way. I think our third episode or session of Beards and Brushes, our miniature painting stream, happened this past Monday. That's every other Monday. You can join us for a couple hours as we paint. Plus all kinds of other great games going on throughout the week. Couple of quick announcements, and we're going to get right into this game, picking up where we left off with the Dawnbringers. I want to draw your attention to the lower left-hand corner down below here, just below where our friend Yesferatu is kicking back against the windowsill there. You will see the Jasper's Game Day logo. Jasper's Game Day is a wonderful organization that their mission, their dedication is to educate and raise awareness and ultimately the prevention of suicide through tabletop gaming. At any time you can press, or rather type, Jasper, and you will be brought to a link, or rather be given a link, where you can directly donate to Jasper's Game Day. You'll want to stay tuned, because at the end of August, happening right here on Mini Terrain Domain for at least a couple of games, one that I will be running, Jasper's is having an online con at the end of August, and it's going to be all over the place. So you're going to want to follow Jasper's Game Day on Twitter. They have their own Twitter account now, so be sure to check that out. Another way that you can help out Jasper's Game Day is by typing !coffee, and you'll be brought to a link for Initiative Coffee's Help Action Metade Roast Coffee, an absolutely delicious medium roast Brazilian and Peruvian coffee. Every 12-ounce bag that you purchase of that, $3 of that cost is going to go directly to Jasper's Game Day. Next to that, you'll see our the logo for Talon and Claw. We are very excited to be sponsor partnered with Talon and Claw. You can type !sponsor in the chat and follow that first link, and you can be taken directly to their storefront. Talon and Claw is constantly adding new stuff to their stores, as he recently got a laser engraver and has been going nuts with it. They've got dice towers, they've got coasters, they've got dice trays, as well as the usual dice vaults, DM screens, all kinds of amazing stuff. And when you pick out what it is that you want for yourself, if you use code MTDClaw at checkout, you'll get 10% off your purchase. And this isn't part of the sponsorship deal, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Talon and Claw has their own Twitch channel, so I want you to head on over there after our game, during the break, whatever. Open another browser window, just give them a follow. They are doing I know that they do a weekly Sea of Thieves stream on Sundays, and I know this because I will be joining the Talon and Claw crew on a couple of hours as we take to the seas, crewing up with them, and I'm looking forward to that, just hanging out with them and playing some Sea of Thieves. So be sure to check that out. Talon and Claw gives away some pretty cool stuff that they make during those streams, so be sure to check that out. Thank you to D&D Beyond for giving us insider access. You can mouse over the stream and see everybody's characters, and I'm using D&D Beyond for looking up all of the monsters that I use to try to toy with the Dawnbringers. Finally, look up above Cantriel and Drought. Cantriel, V is already pointing up above her head there. You will see the 108 domain dice. That is your way, or rather our way, that we let you participate in the stream. For a $5 tip, 500-bit cheer, a subscription, a resubscription, a raid, all of those things will earn the players domain dice that they can use to re-roll a d20, take the new roll, make me re-roll, all the way up through super crits, which are turning a hit into a double max damage critical hit. So you can give them that kind of power, and you have. Look at all the power you've given them. The last thing that I want to say before we start playing this wonderful game is that you matter. No matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, you matter. It can be a struggle to realize that, and maybe you don't believe it, but it's true. And it's okay to admit if you need help. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with seeking help. I just had a therapy appointment this week. I was very much looking forward to it. So there's no shame in that. But if you find yourself struggling and you need somebody to talk to, you can come here to Mini Terrain Domain at any time of day or night, whether we're broadcasting or not. You can type !help, and you will see the phone numbers and text numbers that have popped up in the chat, including the Canadian lifelines and a link to lifelines for around the world. But if you're in the United States right now, you can call the National Suicide Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or you can text 741-741. If you are in the military, active duty, or a veteran, you can press the number 1 after calling that number and be connected with a military specialized counselor. Please don't hesitate to seek help if you need it. All right, that is all of the announcements. It is time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. The Dawnbringers have been steadily descending through the Nightfang Spire after climbing the exterior and fighting off a hideous monstrosity known as the Mooncalf, making their way through an entrance burned into the floor by a recently deceased dragon. They began working their way down through the interior, constantly accosted by numerous minions of the Spire, including vampire spawn, Girolons, and shadows, narrowly avoiding combat with a group of wights, and having most recently to deal with morgues, skeletal creatures with ridiculously long tongues with teeth at the end of them. Just describing it makes me shudder a little bit. The Dawnbringers have made it to the 4th level of the Nightfang Spire. Of how many levels down, they're unsure. Thorgarn thought he had a pretty good sense of that when he fell through a pit on the 3rd level and fell a full 150 feet to the ground below, barely surviving, but was rescued and seems to be doing just fine.
Thorgarn wanted to try and fly, you know?
There's better ways to do that. But the most recent thing that the Dawnbringers have encountered was as they passed by an ornate door with a stone door with an ornate rose carved into it. Somebody began calling out from inside, asking for help and to please let them go. They were able to learn that, or rather decide to break into this place with the help of their friend Yesha, a human scholar that they picked up along the way on the brink of death. They rescued her, and she's been chronicling their adventures and has been popping some doors for them. She popped this door and very nearly got hit by a lightning rune, but was able to dodge out of the way. The door was opened, and there, in the room beyond, you saw the source of the voice. And I'm going to reiterate, after I award you, thank you to Gaz2742 for those bits. That gets you another domain die. See, just like that. So you opened up this door and you saw the source of who it was that was calling for help. I have to amplify. I have to magnify my PDF. I'm having problems with my eye, so everything has to be like super large so I can see. As this door swings open, you see that the room that it has been revealed is about 10 feet wide and about 20 feet deep. You are looking towards the south into this room. Dust obscures the designs on the cracked purple mosaic tiles that cover the floor, the walls, and the ceiling of this chamber, with the exception of the tiles within a 10-foot diameter circle inscribed into the floor and inlaid with silver. Within this circle, also inlaid in silver, or inlaid rather with a glowing dust, is a 5-pointed star. At the very center of this circle and star slumps a horribly gaunt, vulture-like humanoid with skin almost like parchment, wings hanging loosely like a tattered cloak, long neck, vulture-like head. As you enter the room, or rather open the door, this creature sort of peers out from behind the wings and looks at all of you. Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming in. You will free me now, yes? I told you. If you do this, I will tell you everything that I know about Gothias, yes?
It's a bird.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. This one might
I do believe the deal was you tell us and then we set you free.
Yes, you are a very wise dwarf. Yes, get your payment first, and then get the goods. Yes. I promised you, I will tell you everything I know. Everything I know about Gothias and his horrible plans.
Before you listen to this thing, my friend, Griveth is doing his divine sense on it.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? Is it a fiend, a celestial, or undead?
It's an undead fiend celestial.
You definitely immediately start, your senses start pinging with fiend.
Hellspawn!
Yes, that is what your eyes tell you. I am a demon, yes.
How do you like my sword, Hellspawn?
It is very bright.
It is, isn't it?
I bet we can leave these two alone in the room and either something's going to happen or we'll get information one way or the other.
That doesn't seem likely. Not the information part.
You know what this thing is, so tread lightly.
What, you've never made a deal with the devil before?
Not yet.
I highly recommend it. It's entertaining sometimes.
It is very simple. I will tell you, as I said, all that I know, yes. And then you let me go.
Keep saying that, but you don't say anything else.
It's probably waiting for an agreement.
How long have you been locked up?
It has been, oh, so long. So very long.
So, for being locked up so very long, how do we know that the information you have is still relevant?
Because I've been here, in the tower, in the spire, and I was here when Gothias was formed. When he was still a living and breathing, living man.
All right, but you're saying that you were left up here all alone, and if you were left up here all alone for a very long time, how do we know what you're sharing hasn't changed or shifted or adjusted? Or is even something we could put to use?
I hear everything that happens beyond these walls. I hear the mutterings and the murmurs. I hear the secrets.
Prove it.
Yes.
How can we trust you?
I can tell you what I know, and you can decide for yourself if it's true.
We are chasing our tails.
Big Drown, do you know what type of fiend this is?
It said it's a demon.
I am a demon. Gothias thought he could use me for his own amusement.
Are those the ones that are trustworthy or not trustworthy?
I'm very trustworthy. You can trust me.
From the little that I know of them, you can only trust them to be true to their nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel.
So if it's in this thing's interest for us to be well armed against Gulthias, it will probably tell us the truth.
How will we define whether it's in its interest or not?
My interest is simply to be free. While I'm here, still trapped, and he sort of indicates around the circle.
Right, but you
I
could
can
say
do you no harm.
But you could say the sky is green if that would make us release you.
Is it? Is the sky green, or is it still blue? It's been hundreds of years. I don't know what has changed outside the spire.
Why would you be locked up and still be able to hear everything that's going on in this place? Doesn't seem to add up.
I've heard you, tromping your way through the tower. Sound travels through stone, and whispers.
Talmud whispers that exact moment to Fig. Do you think I should go talk to him?
Fig would nod, yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Excellent. I did too. He's gonna kind of he's gonna step onto this circle.
Okay. You just,
I was
into it
giving
or
you
on
a-
the edge, or...
No, onto it. I was giving you a moment to see how you wanted to twist that knife.
Griveth tries to reach out, but it's too quick. He steps in before I can react.
All right.
Can't tell if Jake is being patient or if he's looking something up.
Well, as I said, because of my vision issue, I've had to
Totally understandable.
magnify my PDF very large, and I can only see one paragraph at a time. So, you would be the spokesperson for your little group here.
Something like that, you could say.
And so, it would be you to whom I would tell everything I know about Gothias and the cult, their worshipping of Ashar-Dolan, how the druids destroyed Ashar-Dolan, his heart was cut out and imprisoned here in the tower.
There's more to tell than that?
I would be the one to tell you how to get past the inner chambers where the heart is, for no corporeal being shall set foot there.
He turns around and kind of looks at the group like, I don't really know what that word means, but it sounds important.
But that also means you would be the one to blame if I got away. And he snaps his fingers and he disappears.
Yes. Talmud like stands there, like stone still, not moving or saying anything.
And
Brown just kind of nods and walks out into the hallway.
Cantriel falls.
Cantriel, you would have noticed with your passive perception, as Talmud shifted his weight from foot to foot,
Broke the seal.
that just the tiniest little bit of that glowing dust was pushed aside, and the circle was destroyed, enough for him to get away. This room is now empty.
Great.
Well, now we've released a demon with nothing to show for it. Excellent.
So, Talmud,
I was gonna say I can't entreat with this thing, but you can do it. I have no control over you. You can do what you want, but
Look, it's too late now. It's gone. Nor was it really exactly being forthcoming, so who knows if we would have gotten any information anyways.
very true. Very true.
Let's
Cantriel.
just keep moving at this point, unless you want to search the room and try and find out more somehow that way. But as far as I'm concerned, we can ponder over the what ifs or just keep moving.
Maybe it left a clue. These things are tricksters. They like to leave things out in the open to see if you can figure it out. Maybe they left some kind of clue.
Well,
Are
then
there
by
any other
all-
fixtures in the room? Jake?
Or partial truth, maybe.
Nothing. It was an empty room except for the dusty tiles and the circle that held the demon.
what is the circle made of? You said he moved some dust.
The circle was an intricate design inlaid in silver, and the five-pointed star within it had a glowing dust in the carving. But the age of time had caused the rest of the room to become dusty, but the dust did not penetrate the circle that held the demon. So that floor appears to be almost like brand new tile.
Is that gold dust still there?
Glowing, not gold.
Oh, is the glowing dust still there?
Yeah. It's not glowing anymore. It's lost its shine since the seal was broken.
Fig, do you know what this is?
Fig's gonna look.
You could do an Arcana check or a Religion check.
Is it written in any particular language? Or-
Nope. It's all arcane sigils.
Okay. It's gonna do.
If the effect of this is a wizard or warlock spell, would we know what it is, or would that be the province of making a check?
Yeah, I think it's something that would probably you'd have to make an Arcana check to get deeper into what it might be.
I got a dirty 20 on my Arcana check.
Uh-oh. What's going on there? Trying to remember who has that. Okay. Yeah, you are able to determine that this is a form of summoning circle used to contain demon or devil when it is brought into the world. And while it is contained, it is under your control. But that any act that breaks the circle will allow the demon to be freed.
I think, Fig would relay that information, but while he does so, he kind of scoots over to like Talmud and just puts like a hand on his shoulder, and then afterwards just, you did your best.
There.
Yeah, he just stammers.
I try to pull Fig to the side. Look, I'm trying to, and I bring my voice down to as much of a whisper as Thorgarn really does, hoping to not let Talmud hear. I want to do something for Talmud that's magical in nature. Gerta means a lot to him. Is this powder? Is this dust? Does that retain any of the magical nature of what this was? I know that the more ingredients that one is done with enchantments, the stronger the item winds up becoming.
Would Fig know about that, or is it kind of like, would he know if it's like used up, or
You would know that, like most spells, the components, once the spell has run its course, the components are usually consumed. Very rarely are they not consumed. And in this case, when the dust lost its luster, you realize that was the magical energy being broken. It dissipated and is now worthless.
So Fig would just, I am sorry, Thorgarn, but I believe that this dust is useless. But I will keep my eye out for anything that may look like it may work.
Thank you.
While they're doing all this, Griveth has convinced himself that this demon has left some kind of clue. So he's, feeling stones around the wall, trying to find a secret, cache or, some kind of hole or something. And I am horrible at investigation, but can I do an investigation check?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, and I didn't do too horrible, actually. 16.
Looking around the area, you are very thorough. You do not find any loose tiles or anything that was hidden away, but you do notice that there are scratches in the tiles. Looks like the demon may have been trying to work at the tiles around the sigils, but they're barely in there. But it looks like they're around every aspect of where the sigil was. He was in here a long time and was doing everything he could to try to breach this containment. Drown and Cantriel, did you leave the room?
Yep.
Yep, Drown's out in the hallway.
Same.
As you
just outside the door.
As you turn and leave the room, as a reminder, you had come from the east, was sort of a longer hallway, about 30-40 feet. There's a dead end to the west, about 10 feet. But opposite this door, as you look out, you see that there's an archway leading up into an open area that has another archway to the west. But as you both turn, and there is a doorway at the end of this northern hall about 30 feet away from you. But as you two turn, you see, crouched in the hallway and rising up to full form, spreading the wings. Oh, that feels so good to be out of there. And Runad is standing in the hallway before you. He sort of turns his head and you hear this staccato vertebrae cracking. Oh, nobody tells you how confining it is to be in one of those things.
Well, how often do you just up and go like that?
Well, your dwarf friend, he broke the circle. He
Yes.
freed me.
Broke the line, got your freedom.
I had to
Yay.
make sure.
Of course.
You
So,
still have business here?
A deal is a deal. I told
Cantriel would
you.
look at Drown like, what?
I told you I would tell you everything I know about Gothias.
All right, well then let's hear it.
The bastard left me to rats in that hole.
You've mentioned that.
I would like to see him dealt with. And you're the ones to do it, hmm?
Hopefully.
Yes.
And if you want to know your enemy and my enemy, then you must know their history. And at this point, the rest of you would be able to hear the voice of Runad out in the hallway. Did you know that Gothias was gone from this place for at least a couple of centuries? The poor fool had gone and gotten himself staked to the ground in some far-off place.
Yes, we were aware of that.
Yes,
Most
but
tightly after the fact, but still.
somebody freed him. Some poor fools released the vampire from his imprisonment. Now he walks the realms once again.
Yes, hi, how do you do? We're the fools.
It was you?
Well, more specifically, the one who likes to shout Dawnbringers, which I'm sure you'll learn if you stick around long enough. But yes.
Yes. I had my suspicions, and now they're confirmed. But what is done is done.
Agreed?
I hear the fiend in the hall.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
It's
What
waiting to
happened?
ambush us.
Calm down.
Charge!
Stop.
Griveth, shut up.
I burst through the door with the Dawnbringer.
Drown is standing right in the door.
Good. Good.
Strength check to block me.
Yeah, if you gonna try to shove me out of the way,
Uh-huh.
sure. Make an athletics check.
All right, cool.
Can Cantriel assist Drown by like kind of blocking what little space might be left?
Sure.
27.
Nice. Well, that's an 18, so I get shoved out of the way.
All right.
Yeah.
You catch them off guard, and you're able to sort of burst through the two of them. Dawnbringer held aloft, charging at the Vrock.
Ah!
Griveth, stop.
Attack!
Could they cast Hold Person on Griveth?
Or I'm casting Sleep, one of the two.
Okay. What kind of save is that? What kind of save is that? Thing?
Wisdom. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, wisdom save, eh? 28.
Okay, yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm jumping through hoops here.
My luck has to change at some point.
All right, so you're charging at Runad, and I'm going to say that since you so dramatically bested 3 of your companions, what are you going to do? You're going to make an attack against them?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead and roll it up.
All right.
He did not see this attack coming.
I bet not.
Unfortunately, we all did.
Ooh. All right, 29 for the first one,
Yeah, that's going to hit.
and only a 17 for the second.
Okay, those are both hits.
All right. Ah! All right, let's do some damage. Ah, crap, hold on. What's it doing? Oh, okay. Sorry, it changed somehow. Okay. 26.
Wow.
Hold on, sorry.
Griveth is determined.
6. 30.
As Dawnbringer causes
44 points of damage.
flashing lights of Dawnbringer cutting through the air, and this, with each slash, this sort of arc of demon blood that cascades across the halls and the floor. There is a tremendous screeching sound that emits from Runad in reaction to this, and I need all of you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Back to the pit, foul one. We'll have none of your lies.
No, Drown for sure fails with a 6.
Cantriel got a 12.
All right. Fig got an 8.
23 for me.
Is everybody adding their anybody that's I think it would be
near
Drown
me.
and,
Add your +3.
Drown and Cantriel get +3 for Griveth's aura protection.
Sweet. I got a 9.
21 for Thorgarn.
Reroll.
So
Reroll.
Cantriel, you had a 12 originally, so you're at a 15 now. Thorgarn and Talmud, what'd you get?
21.
I would go to 25.
All right, so it looks like Drown and Fig are the only ones that this screech is so intense that you're stunned. Cantriel and Thorgarn, you hear the draconic epithets that the Vrak, Runad, hurls at Griveth. The wings close in, and he seems to just melt into the stone as he vanishes again. Griveth, you stand there holding Dawnbringer, I imagine sort of looking to and fro, looking for him. And after several moments, he does not reappear.
So when Drown claps his hands over his ears and reels back from the shriek, the tattoos on his skin had been writhing just very slightly, mostly just kind of out of the corner of your eye. As soon as he gets stunned, they lock back into place and stop. Breaks my concentration on Hex.
All right.
You're out of danger, my friends. It's gone.
You're an idiot.
Wasn't fighting.
I can see why Eldath chose you.
I ought to turn you into a mouse.
What for? I saved you.
No.
It was just lies. It was all lies.
She starts to walk away from Griveth.
All right. I feel like we've been in that room for days. Which way are we supposed to be going?
So, now I wanna go up to Griveth. As evil a creature as it was still trying to make a deal, offer information for its release. If you wish to be an honorable man, you need to hold true to the words of what this group says.
I made no deal with the beast.
But we operate as a group. Think about that, my friend.
Well, the information it would have given us was just
We
would have just
don't
led
know
us
that.
astray.
We don't know that. We won't know what it would have said.
Commune with your God. You'll know. You'll know.
Maybe.
I say we're better on our own.
So did Cantriel wander off toward one of the other doorways or arches? Okay, Drown is not going to just let her wander off into the spire alone, so he's going to head that way.
So
Heading towards the arches.
yeah, there was sort of a first archway and then another archway immediately to your left. And you can see this room is, from where the archway is, looking to the west. It is about 50 feet long and about 20 feet north and south, but that northwest wall is curved, another outer edge of the spire. This room has several Right, magnifying so I can read, has several coffin-shaped vats, some of which are filled with a bitter liquid. They're all situated haphazardly around this chamber.
Hold on, it's saying bitter liquid. That connotates that someone must have tasted it.
Clearly someone tasted it.
Ugh.
Pungent in the air, it's all.
Or the fumes are bitter.
Let's
It's
go with
bitter
that.
smelling.
Yes, let's go with, yeah.
Some of them are tipped over and have spilled forth a whitish, bitter-smelling mineral, as well as a number of partially preserved bodies. The entire northwest curve of the wall contains shelving lined with small tools, jars, linen pads, and what appear to be bags of sawdust.
It's like they're trying to preserve things around here.
Perhaps this is where the mummies were prepared.
Ugh.
When
And
taxidermying things, you fill them with sawdust or sand.
Right.
I suppose people would be no different.
Well, it keeps the form, supposedly.
What type of tools are on the shelf?
tools that would be used in embalming. This entire space seems to be dedicated to the embalming process.
Yeah.
And in fact, the powdery mineral that seems to have spilled out of some of these vats is a mixture of salt and soda ash.
What
there any other
purpose
doors?
what purpose would a vampire be trying to make mummies for?
Prevents
Sometimes they exist after death. We fought one.
It's a way to build
Please.
numbers.
Who's making some kind of army then?
Or the cult of the dragon were simply preserving their members here.
To bring them back when Golthias
Perhaps.
came back.
Well, then maybe we need to be looking out for bandages walking around.
Difficult to say because the
Or a
cult
short
and
one.
Gulthias weren't always intertwined. I've lost track of how some of the history moves. But let us continue, shall we?
Yes.
So when we, finish this place, we're gonna clear and cleanse and remove all this crap, and we're just gonna tear this tower down.
I'm
Or
all
just
for
leave it to
destroying
crumble. I don't know that the six of us can bring down an entire spire like this.
Well, we'll see what we can find while we're going through it.
I don't know. You guys have got some pretty potent magic.
I have nothing that can destroy the building.
I might have a trick or two. Is there another door in that room, or is that the room itself?
You'd have to go into the room to completely look around.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's large enough, and as you're all standing at the door, you can't quite see up into the northeastern corner.
Check it out.
Are just a couple of you going in? Is everybody going in?
The Cantriel would have been beelining through it and trying to find more. So yeah, definitely would
Okay.
have walked in.
Even with the threat of being moused, Griveth is going to follow Cantriel in with Dawnbringer.
Just to let you know, there's lots of traps that we've seen so far. Keep your eyes peeled.
Right.
Not everybody wants to go fly in like a dwarf.
Not
Talmud
so much
gives
the
these
flying as the landing.
Talmud gives these coffin-shaped vats a wide berth as he's crossing the room.
Jake, Drown is going to kind of keep his eye on the path that Cantriel is taking, and just try to look for anything that seems out of the ordinary, any stones that seem ill-fit, or might be a pressure plate or a trapdoor, that sort of thing.
All right. As you sort of move in and spread around, looking in this room, you do not see any obvious doorways. And you're all sort of looking around to see if there's any secrets, hidden panels, anything like that. You can go ahead and give me an investigation check. Because there's one thing about this particular level of the Spire you've noticed so far is there is a incredible lack of doors compared to the other levels.
24.
Right. Nice. Better than mine.
Well, I also like the crazy 20s.
So, Cantriel, you would notice that one of these coffin-shaped vats is one of the coffin-shaped vats that had been spilled, emptied out, is propped up against the south wall, sort of in the middle. And as you get close to it, you see that it has actually been placed directly in front of a door that leads to the south.
Talmud.
Yeah.
This is something that Dorman can't handle. And point to the door that's hiding. I think you can move this.
Oh yeah, Dorman. I forgot about Dorman.
Yeah, he's still
Norman the
floating around,
Doorman?
too.
Norman the Doorman.
And Norman the Doorman is actually standing behind me directly.
So yeah, Talmud will go over and he kind of makes sure that he checks all of the interior corners of this vat before he then will like put his hammer on his back and grab a hold of it with both hands and try to move it.
It moves surprisingly easy for you. And Cantriel, you would notice that as Talmud moves it, it seems to be moving along a path that was partially hidden by dust. This coffin has been moved back and forth before. This vat, this door, you even can see a little bit of scuffs in the dust near it. It looks like this isn't something that's been blocked forever. But nonetheless, you now have a doorway, or rather a door, that is readily available.
Definitely would pass along the information. Someone's recently used this particular door.
Have we seen any other signs of passage beyond the gorilla maids or whatever they were?
It's a good cleaning service.
I mean,
Sorry, it's what our chat was calling them. So.
I mean, at every point that you've been moving through the Spire, you've seen footsteps in the dust leading through this place. So, is Norman the Doorman or Talmud going to open this door?
I'll have Norman open it.
Talmud, an unseen force, sort of gently pushes you, nudging you out of the way as the door...
Definitely Cantriel spell.
The door swings open. This room is about 30 feet from north to south. You can see on 30 feet away on the other side of it is another door, and there's a door in the middle of the west wall. The room's about 30 feet wide, not quite square, almost like a square with a notch cut out of it. Workbenches, some of which are half wrecked and dusty, others are completely clean and neat, line the walls of this room. The benches hold implements for cutting, sewing, and model making. Apparently, it's my crafting lair, and Scotty's crafting lair, and Jeremy's crafting lair, and V's, all of our crafting lair. But it does look like a lot of fine tools as well as more industrial tools. Roll after roll of bundled stitching hangs half used on the walls. Small bits of wire, cable, and iron belts are mixed indiscriminately with bones, preserved arms and legs, and other more gory biological pieces. The center of the chamber holds an inclined slab of stone, complete with a body-shaped depression suitable for holding a very large humanoid. Iron wires of every size hang limply around the slab, as well as other more obscure bits of sparking, buzzing machinery. This room has this sort of a hum to it, a bit of a some of the wires dangling, and that's what you see.
Anyone else get a feeling that there's more to just preserving these bodies?
Is there anything in the body-shaped depression?
It is empty.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Was there anywhere else to move on from here into another room or chamber?
There were two doors.
There's a door to the
Two
south
doors.
and one to the west.
Drown will give sort of a kind of a distasteful look at all of the crackling machinery, and then kind of look at Fig. Is this the sort of thing you want to investigate?
I think Fig is like awestruck at this. Fig looks very excited, and he is kind of looking from each person, just waiting for someone to give him like the okay to touch things.
Just be careful.
Yeah, that's good enough for Fig. He's going to go and start just looking at everything, touching things.
All right, go ahead and give me an investigation check as you begin looking around at all this stuff.
I really thought you were leading into a saving throw, weren't you?
Into a what?
I really thought you go ahead and give me a, and I was expecting saving.
Saving throw. Not yet. We'll see how the investigation goes.
Fig touches the
23.
first thing and goes flying directly horizontal across the room.
Just keeps going again and again because he, it zaps his memory and he forgets. It's a 23 on investigation.
So, Fig, you begin moving around. You have not seen a laboratory like this since you were first created in Copernicus's lab. The last machinery you saw even close to this was submerged below the sea, where you spent so many years. But this stuff is all working, functional, and you begin moving from piece to piece, recognizing, filling in the gaps, and realizing that all of this is used to create creatures, to create something that is compiled of other things. And this big slab is used to bring energy and life to these creatures.
Is it life or a facsimile thereof?
That you wouldn't know.
Fig is kind of like muttering to himself about all the things that are the same and different when he was in Copernicus's lab. Just, oh, I did not realize that this thing did not have barnacles on it. And he's like looking at things and just like whatever he can take and put in his hat, he is also doing that.
I think there's a small tear that comes to Talmud's eye.
He does have a pause. It is okay if I could just be borrowing this for a bit.
You really should. It's fine.
Right. Bad. They're bad. That's fine. Stealing from evil people is okay. Right. Okay. And he's gonna take things that he can, even if they're just little things. Can he find any kind of books or paper or instructions or blueprints or anything like that?
You begin searching. As you're searching along these workbenches, I imagine you've sort of pulled your hat off, and for every 2 or 3 tools that your hands glide over, another one goes in your hat. You end up with, I'm going to say, if you don't already have these, you find enough little bits and pieces that you can give yourself a set of Tinker's tools. That you would have a full set of Tinker's tools. You basically cobbled it together inadvertently as you're just, or rather somewhat deliberately, if subconsciously, you're just recognizing the things that are useful. No, you don't have a use for this. No, this I'm not going to be able to do anything. Oh, this is good. And so yeah, you can add a Tinker's tools. And then you begin looking through, there's a lot of old parchment that just hasn't held up to time. You see sketches of humanoids with draconic features, faded, that remind you a bit of the sketches you saw of yourself in figures 1 and 3. As you're looking through all of this, what is everybody else doing while Fig is just ransacking the place?
Drown is mostly just hanging back, keeping an eye on Fig. So,
okay.
Thorgarn is probably like staying close to Fig, just in case something were to, happen, pop out, what have you. He can, kind of throw himself in the way or throw himself at it if need be.
Talmud?
Talmud is probably encouraging Fig to touch new things and pick up new stuff. No, pull this one.
Griveth.
Griveth sees that Fig has more than enough people surrounding him, so he's just kind of looking. He's like, he doesn't really know what any of this stuff is or what it's for. He doesn't understand any of this. So, but he sees that Fig is very excited and interested. But he's worried about maybe someone, trying to sneak up on us while we're distracted or something like that. So he's just kind of paying attention to what's going on. If someone comes through the door or something jumps out at us.
You've got the door.
He's kind of on guard.
You've got the door you came through to the north.
Mm-hmm.
There's a door on the west wall and a door on the south wall. Fig and those that are staying near Fig are all sort of along the east wall and sort of moving to the southeast, that whole section of workbenches and everything. So are you watching the doors you haven't gone through, or watching the way that you did go through, or that you came from?
More than what we came from.
What about you, Cantriel?
I'd be using the time to look over the 2 closed doors to see if there's anything evident in terms of something's looking fishy, or whether it's been used recently or not. Signs of people.
Okay, go ahead and give me investigation.
Okay.
And I'll say do so at advantage because Yesha is sort of at your elbow, and helping you.
Okay, well that is going to be a 21.
You notice that while both doors seem to have tracks in the dust leading to and fro, the frequency of movement to the southern door seems less. There seems to have been a lot of movement back and forth between this room and the one to the west. Fig, you are flipping through these parchments and various papers and things when you see off of a piece of broken glass, what may have once been like an Erlenmeyer flask type thing, the light of Dawnbringer, as Griveth is moving around, sort of catches in the reflection, and you sort of turn your head toward it, and it has this look very similar, the way it's moving through the broken edges of the glass, like firelight. And in this moment, Fig, the sounds of your companions grows distant and you hear the crackling of a fire. You see warm light that fills your vision as licks of calm fire flicker before you, gleaming off from the dank cave walls that surround you. You look up and you see smoke collecting in the low ceiling of this small cavern respite. Nearby, near the fire, you see firelight, twin reflections caught in the dead eyes of a severed head of the creature that you previously saw attacking you, now lying lifeless in a growing pool of blood. Just beyond it, you see the matted white fur of its hulking body catching firelight as it lies dead and decapitated just beyond it. You glance down and you see thin, long legs covered in elegant, lightly armored leather pants stretched out before you. And in your lap rests a dark, leather-bound book. Emblazoned upon its cover in gold is a strange symbol with the appearance of a circle with 10 outward spokes. Each of these spokes bears its own unique design about it, and it is simultaneously foreign and familiar to you. You have never seen this symbol before, yet you know that this is a symbol that you made. It is of your creation, and it is of your language. You know that it stands for Zerth Saran. The warmth of the fire begins to grow cold, and you hear the shifting of Griveth's armor, the shuffling of feet, Talmud's voice in your ear telling you to pick up a particular tool, Cantriel and Yesha muttering about the nearby doors. As you have momentarily slipped back into this fugue state, seeing through someone else's eyes. Talmud and Drown, and I think Thorgarn, you were near Fig as well. All of you make perception checks, please.
Ten.
3.
12.
Talmud, you notice that there's, for a moment, Fig changes his posture, reaching for one of the things you told him to pick up. And then his hand stops and seems to be tracing a circle in the air in front of him as he's looking, seems to be looking no longer at the workbench. He's looking at something beyond it. And then he kind of looks up, and he looks over, and then fingers trace this circle. And then suddenly there's just this, just a almost like a micro spasm as Fig snaps back into his rigid form and is back about himself. It's very subtle. It happens in just a moment.
Yeah, I think Talmud kind of reaches out and like grabs a hold of like probably, I don't know, like the small part of like his waist right above like his hip, just to kind of steady him for a second. You all right?
See Fig just blink for a few moments, and you can hear the sounds, like this close, you can kind of hear the sounds of the gears working, the clacking, as Fig just moves around as if he's taking in the surroundings. And just under his, almost a whisper, just, I was gone again.
Again?
Did Cantriel hear this?
Yeah.
Did it happen again?
You just see
Again?
Fig just nod slowly.
Are you all right?
What did
I
you see
don't
this? What did you
know.
see?
That beast I was telling you earlier, it was dead. I was by a fire, and I saw this. And Fig is going to take out like a piece of parchment and ink and just kind of try and sketch out the circle that he saw to the best of his ability, to the best of his memory.
I think it has to be like a perfect sketch. Like when he's
Drafts.
done. Yeah, it looks like an architect's drawing.
Yeah.
I saw
What?
this.
What's going on?
A symbol any of us recognize?
I would say anybody that wants to can make a history check. Yeah, if you want to. I'm actually going to drop into our group chat.
I just rolled a nat 20 for a total of 21.
Okay. In
Do I get
our,
this with the advantage thing? Is this connected to my thing with the history checks we talked about?
it is not.
Fuck. Okay. 19.
All right. So in our group chat, you will see our Facebook chat. You'll see the symbol that Fig drew. Did anybody else? Did anybody else besides Cantriel and Drown make the check? Okay, Drown.
Hmm.
You don't know what this means, but you've seen these symbols similar to this. You don't know exactly what they are. They don't seem to form words. They seem to be remnants of a language being used to form a sigil or a symbol. Oh, sorry, I put it in the wrong chat.
Whoops.
Yeah. 1 second and I will put it in the right chat. I'm like, there we go. There we go. The person I send it to is going to be really confused.
what happened? Is this a new symbol? It's like...
There you go. So, Drown, the only thing you can recall related to these symbols is one word: limbo.
Do I have any context or understanding of what that is, or is it just something that I've heard someone say?
You just recognize it enough that it was something that whenever you saw symbols like this, that's the association. It was long enough ago or in a vague enough context that that's all you're able to muster.
I recognize some of those markings.
What do they mean?
There was a stone giant dream speaker who said many confusing things about it that came to our tribe once when I was young. She said something about limbo. I think it was a name or perhaps a place, but nothing beyond that.
What, like between heaven and hell? Purgatory, limbo?
Perhaps.
Well, I mean, if there are demonic creatures here, makes one wonder.
But why would Fig be dreaming or seeing these kinds of symbols?
Well, it would make some amount of sense, actually. Do you know that the stone giants believe that the surface world is not real? That only that which lies beneath the mountains and beneath the stones is real. Everything up here where we dwell is a dream, ephemera.
So we're just giants' dreams?
This is a place of omens and madness to stone giants. Perhaps they're right.
I can't exactly argue.
Do you think you're a dream, Talmud?
You know, Thorgarn, some days I'm just not sure.
Sometimes he's a nightmare. The other concern is maybe perhaps something else might be trying to make a home in Fig.
Does limbo mean anything to any of you?
It wouldn't.
Not I.
I have never heard that. This place, it seemed strange, yet familiar at the same time.
If anything else starts ringing a bell as you're walking around, make sure you let us know.
I think Fig would nod. You can see kind of the vigor and the excitement from this laboratory has disappeared in place of this confusion and almost you can begin to see a sense of fear almost in Fig's eyes.
And you can.
Cantriel would. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
All right. Seeing that, Cantriel would cast once again, protect from evil and good on Fig.
All right. And I imagine as you guys are having this conversation and there's these lulls in the conversation, you just keep hearing this sort of the constant of some of this machinery, and there's that and you almost miss it. And then you hear Cantriel, amongst the buzzing, you hear psst, 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 and you turn to the western door and you see Yesha standing there, and she's opened the door just a crack and is peering through it, and she's looking at you going psst. And when you turn and see her, she holds up 3 fingers and then like gestures like a height similar to hers, and then gestures really big, points at the empty table thing with all the wires in the depression, and then points at the partially open door, and then again goes, and that's where we're going to take our break. Yep. We're going to go ahead and take about a 10-minute break here. Give everybody a chance to refresh your drinks, take a bio break, whatever you got to do. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in so far. And for the people that are following the channel, remember, if you haven't done so already, please click that follow and turn on the notifications so you know when we go live. Because after tonight's game, tomorrow night, Alan, who I just noticed is in the chat, and his crew will be running through their Curse of Strahd game at 10 p.m. Eastern right here on the channel. So stick around. We will be back after about 10 minutes. Go ahead and we'll see you on the other side. And we're back. Yesha is standing at the partially open door, frantically signaling to you, Cantriel, giving you indication of, and that there's something about roughly around her size, something very big, and she's pointing at the empty table with the big depression in it, and frantically pointing at this room that she's opened the door. I mean, it's cracked literally like an inch.
Something tells me that Yesha may have found the, and I'll point to the depression thing in the table, may have found what's been created and there's someone else with it. And then motion over to where she's standing.
All right, I will try to quietly creep over and peek through the open door.
All right, give me a stealth check.
Sure. Is it... Everything's messed up at the moment. Okay, that's pretty good. 19.
I'll whisper, do we lure it in or do we go out to it?
Drown, you make your way over quietly to the door, and you basically are standing over top of, behind and above Yesha, and you can peer into this room, and you see inside this room 3 humanoid figures. 2 of them are Two of them are not much larger, very similar to a standard humanoid form. And one of them looks like it's about as big as you. The 2 figures that you see first in this room, sort of shuffling around, they have faces of long dead elven folk, down to about a little bit beyond the neckline, and then you can see stitching connecting to white fur, and the entire body is a patchwork of flesh and white fur and a mix and match of humanoid and Giralon arms. This creature has 4 arms. The 2 of them do. Behind them lumbers a large creature that appears to be primarily of dragonborn descent. Red dragonborn. But there's patches of Giralon musculature, and it too has 4 arms. And just as you're peering in, you move the door just a fraction of an inch to see better, and the door goes, and the large creature turns. It was his perception check that beat your stealth check by just 1. And you suddenly hear from this other room, the rest of you, as all 3 figures begin lumbering towards you. What would you like to do?
Would I consider their posture threatening?
I would say yes.
All right.
As I would say, the large creature in particular, forms 4 fists I mean, he's not like coming at you like this, like, "Arr!"
Then I would say it's probably time to roll initiative. Because I'm going to take hostile
Close
action.
the door.
Drown suddenly takes up a defensive posture or preparing for offense. So let's go ahead and roll initiative. Somebody roll for Yesha for me.
I'll roll for Yesha. Yesha got a 12. And I got a dirty 20.
All right, dirty 20 for Cantriel. Griveth, what you got?
I got a 19.
All right, Drown.
15.
That's weird. Hold on a second. I wrote everybody's names on here. I wrote Griveth, Drown, Cantriel, M, Ted, Jeremy, Yesha.
So, okay.
All right. Get your actual character names down here. Fig, what did you get?
21.
All right. Thorgarn.
Thorgarn has got a massive 17.
Nice.
Talmud.
Talmud got an 18.
Wow. Okay. So it is going to be Fig, Cantriel, Griveth, Talmud, Thorgarn, Drown, and then the monstrosities.
It's a patchwork trio.
All right, Fig. You're in this room. You've just seen Drown sort of. Oh, you know what? I didn't calculate Yesha in there. So she would go last after all of you. So that puts her at. It doesn't matter. It's probably not going to get to her anyway. Okay, there we go. Revised order. She's in place. Drown and Yesha sort of. If you didn't do this, I think Yesha would sort of take a step back into the side and push the door open with her foot, allowing others the opportunity to see what's coming. And you can all sort of see into this room that's a little bit smaller than the one you're in, as 3 figures with a total of 12 arms are moving towards you. They're all inside this room. What would you like to do, Fig?
Well, since they are contained and far away in this room, and there's nobody there, I think we're going to do a fireball into this room. So Fig lets out that whirring matches on his arm that have come out just from this one that used to be there, but these matches come out and the flames almost coalesce to his hand, and it just explodes out into this room, and they have to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. That ought to be good. All right, let's see. The big guy makes a 13. And the 2 little ones get a 10 and a 17.
Can you wait? So if they get it, this DC they pass. Is that right?
If they hit the DC, they pass. Is it 17?
Yeah. Can you re-roll that, please?
Certainly. You've got plenty of domain dice for that. That'll cost you 2 domain dice. I'll re-roll that 17, which will become a 4. All 3 of them have failed.
They're going to take 45 points of fire damage
Oh, Bluey!
as he casts it at 6th level.
All right. You see your fireball erupt into the room, and it sort of hits centralized in there. They don't even seem to react to it. White fur has caught fire, is singed. The smell of burnt hair is now filling this area. The two smaller ones cry out in pain and surprise, but the larger one with the red dragonborn head just grins and seems to have resisted some of that damage. It is Cantriel's turn.
All right, I will move forward enough to see through the door and fire off a couple of rounds, because why not? Aiming towards the Dragonborn, because, yeah, that's not good.
All right, and you're going to get a domain die because David Blue just raided the stream with 20
Hi,
viewers.
David!
Hello, David.
He's one of my awesome
V's
players.
attracting players from her other game.
Yay!
Tuesday nights on Gilding Light.
Yes, we have our campaign. Last episode is on Tuesday. Just a quick little suicide.
All right.
Okay, so let's do one shot, two shot, and we'll see where we go here.
And you were aiming at the big guy.
Yeah, the Dragonborn who didn't go all off flambe, absolutely. Oh, I like these numbers. Okay, so I have a 26 and a dirty 20.
Both hits.
Okay, first hit is going to be... Oh, that's right, the math changed because it's not gauntlets. So that is 13 piercing. And then the other one is 8 piercing.
13 and 8, so 21. All
All
right.
for the Dragonborn.
Yep. And yeah, so your arrows find their home in this monstrosity, no problem. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Not at this time, no.
Griveth, you are up next.
All right. So, tactically, they have to get through the door to get to us, right?
Yeah, I'm just checking something. I'm realizing all of you have... All right, you're enough through this level that I can show you the map. And this will... That is not the right floor. This is the previous floor. You are not quite where that you are here thing is. You are here in this room, and the creatures are coming out of this room.
Okay.
So right here is the doorway.
The choke point, right?
Yep, that's the choke point.
Okay, I am going to move to the door. Would you say two of us could be in the doorway?
All of the doors around here are nearly 5 feet, large stone doors. So you could essentially, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of move to the door and block, try to block anybody coming through. But maneuver or give room enough that Talmud or somebody could join me there. And Cantriel could shoot through us and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. As I do that, I'm going to cast a spell. To call on Eldath, and the spell is Aura Vitality. So I'm gonna cast that, and then wait for the attack.
All right. And what does Aura Vitality do?
It just means I can heal every round.
Perfect. So Griveth sets up a blockade. Talmud, you are up next.
So I think seeing Griveth do this and realizing kind of what his aim might be, how big is the table from this room that has the depression in it?
It is very big. It's probably a good 4 feet across and 8 feet tall, thick, heavy wood with metal surface on it.
How far away from the door is it?
Almost 20 feet.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. So yeah, then he'll just take up post beside Griveth in that case with Ghost Cleaver drawn, and if I can, I'd like to ready an action.
You absolutely can.
Yeah. Whenever one of these things gets within my reach, I'd like to attack it.
All right. They look like they're sort of recovering from the fireball and gathering themselves up to charge at you. But not yet, because it is Thorgarn's turn.
So the smaller ones, do they look mildly annoyed by the fire, or are they like beaten up pretty bad? Trying to gauge how they're looking.
They cried out. They have blistered skin, burned fur, but they don't seem to be swaying on their feet at all either.
Well, I will take a position at the door, trying to possibly have the three of us melee characters blocking their entry, and I will throw Forge Fane at the Dragonborn twice.
All right.
So that is going to be a 26 and a 21.
Yeah, those are going to hit.
It's going to be 28 points of damage. 8 and a 6 on the dice.
All right. Yeah, you just sort of throw and release, catch, throw. I mean, you throw, you hit them, you catch it. You throw, you hit them, you catch it. And you see a couple of teeth go flying as you've struck a couple of solid blows on this large creature.
Nice.
That is going to take us to Drown.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot of bodies in this doorway at this point. So I'm going to try to fire Eldritch Blast over some dwarf heads, but you tell me how clear or doable that is.
It is doable. Don't roll a 1.
Yep, fair enough.
Realize you're like, almost twice my height, right?
Yeah. All right, so in the interest of not rolling 1, I'm going to go ahead and make 3 attacks with Eldritch Blast, because that's how that works, right? I'm going to spend a domain die. Okay. Low end on the attacks, I have an 18.
That is going to hit.
All right, so it'll be 3 hits. Everybody seems to be pouring punishment into the Dragonborn looking one, right?
Yes.
All right, so then Drown will go ahead and follow the tracers and just light that target up with these crackling sea deep green beams. Good rolls. 18. 33 points of force damage.
33.
Yeah.
Okay. They all slam into the creature, and okay. It appears to be quite angry with these attacks. The increasing ferocity of these attacks. And
so, Drown, before I end my turn, he will kind of step to the side as much as he can to try and clear the way for anyone else behind.
Yesha is up, and she has sort of moved over further away from everybody and just has her dagger in hand. And she's just holding an action in case any of these things get through. The large Dragonborn Golem is going to rush forward directly in all three of your faces in the doorway. As he does so with a bellow, Talmud, you may take your held action. At the same time, he's doing something. So go ahead and we'll resolve your held action.
Okay. That is a dirty 20.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
I'm glad to hear this. All right. This will be magical slashing for piss poor damage. 8.
All right. As he runs up, you can see Griveth, Talmud, and Thorgarn. As he's running right up to you, you see he's bellowed, and then he seems to be... and you see the glowing embers in his throat as he unleashes hellfire through the doorway. And I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw.
+3 save.
And of course, everybody that's within 10 feet of Griveth will get the +3 paladin bonus.
Do you want me to roll for Yasha too?
She moved far enough. Well, actually, yeah, go ahead and roll for her because she had lined herself up. Whoa, what on earth? Is that what the stream is seeing?
Mm-hmm.
My view of the stream just went all vertical lines.
Stream appears to be okay for my.
Okay, I don't know what just happened. It scared me. It looked like those vertical lines when Netflix logo is first firing up, and the big end comes in. I don't know what just happened to my thing.
I'm not seeing it.
But we're still streaming.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you get for Yesha?
Yasha, I got a 9.
Okay, so that's I gotta see what the save DC is here. Okay. So I've got a 9 from Yesha, a 9 from Fig, an 18 from Talmud, a 19 from Drown, a 15 from Griveth, a 5 from Talmud, Thorgarn, and Cantriel, what'd you get?
24.
Cantriel, you are the only one who saved.
That was a pretty good set.
It's a DC 20 save. So I'm going to roll 2. That's 15. 4 more, or 2 more. 15 and 14 is 29. And the last 2d10 make 36 points of fire damage to everybody except for Cantriel, who takes 18. As it's
I'm gonna
like,
go ahead and use my reaction to absorb some of that with Stone's Endurance.
okay. It's literally, I mean, you've seen particularly in your excursion into the tapestry a few floors ago, you've seen Dragonborn unleash fire. This is amplified. It's as if there's some sort of additional fuel source pushing this, as it just seems to roil into the room, catching everybody with this. And let's see, that was 36 to Yesha. I gotta check her.
It was 36 damage. Okay.
Yep. I gotta check on Yesha's. Make sure Yesha's still standing. I think she is. Yeah, Yesha's fine. Singed a bit, but still standing. As the fire erupts from around it, the other two creatures come in and they are going to attack at Griveth and Talmud. So Griveth, you are going to get 4 attacks against you. That's going to be a 17, a 14, an 11, and a 16. This thing, half humanoid and half Girlon arms, are just slamming, beating against your shield that you're just able to get up in time. Talmud. Yeah, I'm not rolling the Dawnbringer die versus you guys. Let me try these ones.
Sure, now you change it.
No, I haven't touched it tonight.
I was like, thanks
I
for
got
using
it
it for me.
Okay. That's a 12, Talmud. Are you freaking kidding me? I rolled 2
Maybe.
natural ones as this thing comes in at you. So Talmud,
have a time.
you unfortunately you won't get a opportunity attack because you already burned your reaction for your held action. But it basically slams 2 of its fists into the wall on either side of you. These things are now fully, like, they're directly in front of the Griveth and Talmud in particular in the doorway as we jump back to the top of the round with Fig.
So these are they into the room now?
They're still in the other room.
Okay. Then I think Fig is going to hurl a firebolt at one of them. That isn't the white one. With a 19 to hit.
Going for the big, or so you're not going for the Dragonborn one?
No.
Left or right?
Left.
Okay. That will hit.
Excellent. And so that is going to be 21 points of fire damage.
You blast it, and those of you closest to this suddenly see this. You hear and see this bolt of fire pass right near your head, Griveth, and it literally burns a hole through the first several layers of skin and fur that remains in the one in front of you, and it is still standing. Anything else, Fig?
No, Fig is going to make sure that he's staying away from the door just to make sure everyone has room to back up when they inevitably come forward.
Cantriel.
I am going to start shooting at the big old Dragonborn again. Because I don't like it. I don't like what I saw. Let's see what we do. Okay, I can work with this. So then that is 16. Does that hit?
It does indeed.
Awesome. And then the other one's a 27. That hits, right?
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, so then that's a 14 and 6. No, add, that's 8. I need to add a 6 to the 2. Nothing I can do.
4 arrows now pierce this giant Dragonborn golem's chest. And you you see for the first time, those of you immediately in the doorway, you see it falter a bit in its posture. And that's going to take us to Griveth. You are currently engaged with the creature that Fig shot with the firebolt.
Okay. So Griveth sees the determination of his battle brothers gritting their teeth, steeling themselves, slashing with their weapons, and Griveth mutters a soft prayer to Eldath, and Fig is healed for 8 damage.
All right.
So can I attack the Dragonborn one?
You will draw an opportunity attack if you do so.
Okay.
Well, They're all right there in the doorway, so it's kind of a cluster. It's a rugby scrum here, so no, I don't think you would draw an opportunity attack because you're not moving anywhere. You're still attacking within your reach, so.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. These things are not undead, right?
Correct. Well.
Okay.
What? No, they're.
Okay.
They are not.
Okay. Of course, Dawnbringer is going to be the one that's going to attack.
Of course.
Wouldn't have it any other way, right? So Dawnbringer slashes in a shining arc of death, hopefully. 21 to hit.
Indeed.
And 16.
Both hits.
Oh, yes. Okay. Let's do some damage here. Uh, 20. Hold on. Well, not so great. Okay. Let's see. 21, 33 points of damage on the Dragonborn.
Griveth, how do you want to end the Dragonborn Golem?
Oh, nice. Okay, so the thing, bursts out with this fire, spraying all of us. Cantriel nimbly, of course, gets out of the way with her amazing reflexes. But we take it full on. I am not going to let this happen again. This is not happening again. So as I see it kind of breathe in and the fire, rage up inside the back of its mouth, I kind of knock its head with one blow, so it's facing right toward me, and then I take Dawnbringer, shove it through its gullet, comes right out the back of its head, fire kind of bursting out from the back and like shooting up to the top of the room, and then it just as slowly it just kind of slides off Dawnbringer and just boom, there's this enormous crack on the floor as it like shatters the actual stone. It's so heavy, it shatters the stone, but it is no more. It is moving no more.
Talmud is covered in ichor from this, as the dwarves are prone to become. Speaking of Talmud, it is your turn, and you are currently engaged with one of these four-armed golems.
Congratulations. He's going to kind of like sputter, like it's like, I imagine like whatever it is that flows through this thing's veins is almost more like embalming fluid. It's like super liquidy and foul.
Yep. Now you know why that was described as being bitter.
I tasted it. See, I told you. Yeah, he's kind of, but then he kind of looks at the one that's standing in front of him, kind of wipes his eyes, and grabs onto Ghost Cleaver and is going to. I think he's going to hold the line. I don't think he's going to try to push it in. He's going to stay here in the doorway, and he's just going to attack this thing twice. I am a glutton for punishment, so I'm using Reckless Attack. Oh, okay. That's 28.
Yeah.
And the second is a 26.
These things are literally flesh golems. There's no armor involved here.
Right.
And I don't think anybody's rolled lower than a 15 on any attack thus far.
Okay, so the first attack will do 14 points of magical slashing. Yeah, there we go. And then the second will be 17 points of magical slashing. Shing, shing.
Yeah, you open up a couple of large gashes, and this bitter-smelling, embalming liquid is pouring out of these wounds.
Yeah, I think some of the stapled or like sewn up like portions are like splayed open.
And Thorgarn, you are next in the order.
am I able to? Am I like close enough that I'm able to melee with these guys, or am I kind of pushed back because of the crowded doorway?
It's crowded. To actually melee with them, I don't think you can actually get past the other two without pushing into the room.
Okay. All right. So then I will throw Forge Feign at the one that Talmud just attacked. So it's going to be a 16 and a 21.
Yep.
It's going to be 19 points of bludgeoning. Magical.
Thorgarn, how do you end this one?
So that's the 2 throws of Forge Feign. So I imagine the first one kind of smacks it into the chest, kind of stunning it a bit, and the second one just kind of collapses his face in.
Yeah, you sort of, as you hit it, it causes its head to snap back, breaking the neck, and Forge Feign continues flying into the room further before returning to your hand. As this one collapses to the ground, leaving only the one directly in front of Griveth still standing, as it is now Drown's turn.
All right, so just the one still up. There's still a whole bunch of people in the way, so I will go ahead and launch another salvo of Eldritch Blasts past them through the doorway. No ones, that's good. So hits. $40 points of force damage.
You only needed 39 to end this one. So
Aha!
how do you end this whole situation?
So Drown just sort of grits his teeth, holds out his hand, and just stares. The tattoos around his arm begin to writhe and lash out like these crackling green beams that are half water, half sort of reaching like tentacles that just blast and disintegrate a hole through its chest.
Griveth, you just see this hole just doosh, 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 open up in this thing, and it just sort of collapses to the ground. And you are all out of combat except for one thing.
Except for the explosion.
I just need to check something.
See, it's a lot of treasure. It's taking him a while. He's got to calculate it all up.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
So
Nope, okay. All right. You are out of combat, and you see that this room is you can now see that it's about 30 feet wide, 20 feet across from the doorway on a curved wall, one of the outer chambers. And you see there's several cast off linens, broken stitches, shattered bones, and this whole room looks like it is an extremely primitive, I wouldn't even say cleric or medic, I would say bone saws room. This looks like somebody had the barest, minimalist, most minimalist tools and virtually hacked apart at limbs from the disarray of broken body parts and things around here. Other than that, you see nothing. No exits, no anything without going in and investigating further. There is, in the room that you were in, there is also the door to the south. But at least from out here, you don't see any doors in this room.
Before we proceed, Griveth whispers a prayer, and I'm going to burn the rest of my aura vitality. So everybody gets 6 hit points back.
All right. Does that include Yesha?
Yes. I mean, Yesha.
All right. What would you like to do, Dawnbringers?
I guess we got to go back the other way.
Dead end.
So you're going to check out the room to the south. Talmud, Norman the Doorman, or Yesha on the door?
Norman would get it first, just see.
You come into a room, it's larger than, but not at all dissimilar from a couple floors up. A wedge-shaped room with a door all the way in the southeastern corner. There is, in this room, an obsidian altar on the curved southwestern wall. On the ground in front of the altar is what used to be a symbol of a Chardalon, but a freshly carved Gothias tree symbol is inside, or is over top of this.
John will kind of clap his hand down on Thorgarn's shoulder. Just take it easy.
Not charging ahead this time. Is there any,
Did you say there was another? Did you say there was another door through this room?
All the way
side?
in the southeastern corner, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So Thorgarn's not going to go try to shatter the altar in this room?
He wants to, but he can still feel the fall.
A phantom stinging sensation of all of the razor cuts from when you went down the slide.
It's not the razor cuts were. It was more like the short
Splat?
stop after a long fall.
Fair enough.
No, though, personally, I think I'd rather take a really long fall than sliding down razors. That sounds really awful.
Oh, not
It
okay.
totally does.
I don't want.
Could Norman
Is there any?
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, could Norman take an object, I don't know, even if it's like a piece of rubble or whatever, and just sort of hit every stone that would be stepped upon type of thing?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it could maybe trigger a pressure plate, but yeah.
I don't know, I'm thinking that's all. That was an idea. I'm not saying we have to go with it at all.
If it's got a pretty light touch, the unseen servant could probably do it. It depends on how sticky it is.
Hmm.
Is there any pressing need to destroy that altar right now? I know it offends you, and I understand.
Yeah.
But now it feels like bait.
Yeah. Griveth is kind of looking at Thorgarn, he understands why he's not so excited to go over there and try to destroy it. But Griveth, every time Griveth sees this tree, he's just, you can see on his face, it's just it's a combination of just being upset and angry. He's just he's he can barely contain it.
I think Talmud's got his hand out on Griveth's sternum. He's I understand, but let's hear them out, maybe.
Yes, after what happened last time.
You're a lot heavier than he is.
True.
Doesn't seem to be anything else interesting in this room. I think we should just skirt around the edge toward the door. Leave the altar and the symbol alone.
Should we still tap on the floor as we go, perhaps?
Certainly.
Talmud will use Ghost Cleaver. He'll basically just kind of hold on to it just below the head, use the bottom of the haft to kind of press, I imagine the path along the wall that's furthest away from the altar, just kind of staying with our shoulders pretty much kind of rubbing the wall.
All right. Anybody that is using any method to look for hidden floor traps. Go ahead and roll investigation.
Could I argue for a stone cunning bonus?
I'll allow it.
You're kind. Thank you.
I got a 24.
Well,
I'm not very good at investigation because I got a 6.
I think investigate's one of my great ones. Yep, -1. That's a 13 total.
While the rest of you seem to be Talmud, you're almost you seem to be there's like no rhyme or reason to where you're poking. You'll poke this stone, but you skip the next 3, step on those, and poke another one. Whereas Cantriel, working with Norman the Doorman, is very thorough and finds a safe path all the way along. Fortunately, Talmud, you don't find any unsafe paths. And you are all able to make it to the door in the southeast corner.
Once he like pokes the square in front of the door, he turns around, see it, and he sees that like Cantriel is with her method like only half the distance, and like he's the only one who's like traversed the rest of the room. What are you doing? It's safe.
Did Cantriel find a trap, or did she just find that, there wasn't a trap on the path we walked?
You find that this room appears to be, at least the directions you've taken, safe.
Excellent.
So, Talmud, you're the first to the door. Are you going to open it then?
Jacob, is this still a question?
All right, Talmud, you open the door.
Isn't that why we have Norman?
Into what appears to be barely larger than a closet with another door on the north wall.
Why would you put a door inside of a closet?
Or a secret room.
He kind of looks into this small space and he'll step in and
Because
try
he's
this
evil.
closet
why.
door. This is where I keep all of my doors. It's my door closet.
And there's a door to the north, and you open that one, and you see a familiar looking sight of a stairwell with a spiral staircase leading down.
Oh, no more doors this way. Finally.
Once you pass through the 2 doors.
We've met our quota.
Heading down the stairs, you are either excited or disappointed to find that there is indeed a door out of the stairwell.
New quota.
New floor.
Getting to this door, Talmud leading the way. This one leads into a room that is 20 feet across, 30 feet north to south. There is a door opposite you, 20 feet away on the east wall, and there is a door immediately to your right on the same wall that you are emerging from. But in this room, you see urns of all sizes covering almost every inch of available floor space, except for a 5-foot wide clear path between connecting all 3 of the doors. Most of these urns have tipped over or broken, spilling fine ashes mixed with charred bone across the stone floor. All is quiet in here, though dust seems to fill the air.
It's quiet as the dead in here.
Because it is the dead.
Are we, should I go ahead and cross then? You think it's safe?
Almost assuredly not. Try not to disturb the urns.
Sounds fair. That's fair.
which door are you going to go towards? The one on the far side or the one on the same, which would be closest to you, to your right?
So you said that the path kind of goes across the room. Is there another path that goes to this secondary door on the right?
Yep. It's sort of like a small arc. So all three doorways are connected by a 5-foot wide path through all of the urns.
Okay. Then the door closest, I would think.
All right. This room is oppressively quiet. Almost like if you're in a snow-covered landscape, just from all the dust that's everywhere. It seems to almost absorb sound.
Is there like a layer of ash on the floor?
There's a layer of ash everywhere, mixed in with chips of bone. And the dust, this ash dust, seems to hang in the air.
So bad for your lungs. All right.
Yeah, don't breathe in.
Wear a mask. So you go to the next door, and in this room, you see that it's about a little more, just slightly larger than 20 by 20. There's a door on the opposite side. This room also filled with urns, some of which are broken, but there is a path connecting the other door. One thing, Cantriel, that you would... Anybody could notice this, but Cantriel, I think, would probably be the one to take note of it first, is there don't seem to be footprints through this dust. It doesn't look as though any of these Girlon servitors have come down and tried cleaning anything here. It doesn't look like anybody's been through here in a long time.
Not saying we're barking up the wrong tree, but we're barking up possibly the wrong tree.
As you say tree, you notice just barely visible in this new room under the dust another symbol of the Gulthias tree carved into the floor.
Can I position myself in the door so that they couldn't see it while I said no one's really been using this room?
Well, Talmud sort of is already in the room.
I know.
By the time Talmud may not have noticed the tree.
I can just kind of like one of those, like, nope, you didn't see anything.
Talmud, there is a door on the opposite side.
All right, so do we continue this way? There's another door on the other side. This room is eerily quiet.
Well, I don't think it's exactly visited all that often.
As you open this door into a small wedge-shaped room, you see that there are half a dozen half-rotted humanoids. Some of them are showing more than just a little bit of bone. Oh, I immediately regret saying that. Move among the urns in this chamber. Apparently, writing tipped urns and sweeping ashes into a large sack. You're looking into this room and you just see half a dozen zombies. Want to walk over and just trying to lift one of these big urns. You hear and you look and one of his fingers breaks off and he just sort of until there's a clatter as the finger bone lands on the ground, and then he just takes again and tries lifting it. Halfway up, the urn and ash and bone spill to the floor. He just reaches over, picks up a broom, and starts sweeping up these ashes. They are moving very slowly.
Well, do we want to take care of these poor souls, or?
I don't know.
maybe not. You know,
They're just
we
kinda doing
probably
their own-
store up a lot of the dust in there,
That's what I'm
and
thinking,
truthfully, I don't really want
Jake,
someone.
in your world, do you consider when someone summons undead that their actual spirit is inhabiting the bodies, or is it just necromantic magic that animates the body? Or would I be able to make a religion check to know that?
Well, I'm not going to tell you the nature of the undead outright, but if you
Big
wanted to make
puppets.
some kind of a check, you could attempt that.
That is probably not going to work. That's a 12.
I'll help. Roll with advantage.
That is better. That's a dirty 20.
You have seen a lot of undead since you've been in this place. And
Sidebar. Compare notes.
the one thing that you've noticed in common, the further down you've gotten, the more undead you've encountered, the more servants of the tower you've encountered. You've also noticed that you've grown so accustomed to it that until you sort of started thinking about it, you'd almost forgotten about the constant, ever-present heartbeat of this place. There's some connection between the undead and the dark energy of that heartbeat.
So, friends, I don't think we should leave any undead still animate, still alive. We should crush everything we come across. We weaken their hold on this place.
I agree. Any foul thing we leave behind just gives remnants to this evil place. I say we take it all from them.
All right, I'm gonna stay here, just outside the door, and make sure they don't get past you.
Right. Go cleanse.
Thorgarn and Griveth want to cleanse the room of zombies.
Go get him, champ.
Yes.
So, would you attempt to do so quietly or in typical Griveth fashion?
Of course, typical Griveth fashion.
I'm not gonna even make you roll initiative because these are zombies and you guys are level
Pyrotechnics
11.
go off. His entrance music plays. Yeah.
I ask if Yusha's got the sketch going, the heroic pose sketch.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the night of smite. Griveth is his own spotlight with Dawnbringer. You just hold it behind your back so you get that aura of light behind you. Thorgarn and Griveth, you can take a moment and narratively describe how you destroy these half a dozen zombies.
Sweet.
You have to read Jeremy's comment here. On a scale of 1 to Griveth, how do you...
I know, me asking if Griveth was going to do it quietly is like asking Talmud if he's going to check a door before opening it.
So Thorgarn would actually be, a little bit more reticent to just charge in a room full of undead. So like the first round is just throwing the hammer at these things until it falls over, and as they slowly kind of shamble across the room, once they get within actual melee range, then it's just beat them like drums. But until that time, it's throw from the doorway.
Awesome. Yeah, Griveth is just it's full of Eldaths and foulness and evil and sending you back and smashing you down and all that kind of stuff. So he's just like a whirlwind, like a dervish, just flying around, Dawnbringers just glows even brightly, you know, when it's within undead and everything. So it's just, you know, tearing into these things, limbs, heads, torsos, everything flying around, bouncing off the walls, seared to a crisp, you know, as it takes them off, because it's just the flame of the holy Dawnbringer. So yeah, and it's just he's actually almost barely raised a sweat for it. And it's done.
I just imagine this as Talmud steps back and Thorgarn and Griveth go in. Talmud just sort of goes, and you just hear this, yeah, Dawnbringers! You hear all this stuff on the other side of the door, and then a moment later, Talmud just kind of goes, opens the door, and there's Thorgarn and Griveth standing in the midst of all these now dismembered and dead zombies.
Yeah, it's like off screen when someone goes into your room. It's like you hear all the bash, boom.
There's a bit more. There's a bit more.
Dust picture when the door opens, they're both covered from head to foot in the ash, the dust.
Blink, blink. All right. So you have.
I want to thank you all. That was very satisfying.
You have cleansed this room.
You and I really need to talk, Griveth.
All right. There is one door in the north wall up in the northwestern corner of this wedge-shaped room. Talmud or Norman?
Probably at this point, Norman's bye-bye.
Ooh,
okay. Yeah. I almost imagine with all the dust in the air, there's a disturbance of the unseen servant moving through, and you can almost make out this humanoid shape, and then it just seems to suddenly, as the spell wears off, Talmud probably waits an extra couple beats waiting for Norman to open the door.
Yeah, Norman's gone.
Oh, I was expecting for him to shove me out of the way.
I could do it for you if you'd like.
You're going to open the door?
Oh, sure, why not? I can shove you in process if it makes you feel better.
Who am I to pass up an offer?
I will look at the door first and investigate it to be sure there's nothing fishy about the door.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Okay. Jesus Christ, I keep getting 19s on my investigations. That's another 24.
You have no doubts that this door is unlocked and untrapped.
So I will open the door and do like this sweeping bow to Talmud. After you!
It's the sweeping bow that prevents you from noticing the 3 zombies, the Garrulon, and the Morgue all standing in the room. This room...
Are you telling a joke?
I know,
it sounds...
So this room's
3
a bar.
zombies, a Garrulon, and a Morgue walking to a crematorium. This room is much different, similar, but much otherwise different. Yeah. It's similar in that there are lots of urns. It's different in that all of the urns and the floor are clean, neat, and tidy. Anything that was previously spilled is now in a large pile of ash, charred bones, and urn fragments. The Garrulon, the Morgue, and the zombies are all standing there, staring as if waiting for you. And as Cantriel sort of gives a sweeping bow, Talmud, you see these creatures, and all of them, all 5 of them, take a step backwards away from the door. There is a door immediately to the right. It's the only other door. They all move towards the northwestern corner. They do not seem to move aggressively towards you. In fact, with its 4 arms, the Garrulon seems to almost be holding back the zombies and the Morgue.
And Talmud kind of clears his throat in Cantriel's direction. He's kind of like jerking his chin towards them.
She'll stand up, look to Talmud a little confused at first, then look into the room. Oh, hell. Now, boys, do you think we could sneak around these ones? Just this once. They don't seem to want to attack.
What's in the room? What's in the room?
Nothing, just apparitions. Figments of your imagination. They're not real. Trust me. I tell you the truth all the time.
So does it look like they're like cowering from us, or they're just kind of walking back?
For all intents and purposes, it looks like the Garrulon is reaching out, like almost protectively of the others, holding them back with its 4 arms, just sort of moving around, like, and it has sort of pushed back towards the corner a little bit, giving you plenty of room to move towards the other door if you wished.
Well, this one seems inclined to let us pass. That's a nice change of pace. Too bad he wasn't running the crew a few floors up.
It would have been helpful.
Should get him a mask.
What do you think? Can we sneak around and keep going?
We can't leave them behind us.
Why not?
What if they turn on us?
And it'll likely end the same way that it's ended for everything else that we've come across so far.
So let's end it now.
Does the Garrulon look... It's a living Garrulon, right?
It is indeed.
If you're willing to murder a surrendered, cowering foe, that's fine. I'll follow you.
Griveth pulls back on his bravado there and drowns well-aimed.
Griveth pumps the brakes. I never thought I'd
yeah,
hear the
but
day.
Griveth pumps the brakes and pulls back, and yeah, he's willing to do what the group wants. He was in his lust for battle. He didn't think about that.
All
So
right.
then I guess Talmud will
Guy's
kind
gotta be
of...
the most intellectual.
I guess Talmud then will kind of, again, give them a wide berth, move around the other side of the room to cross towards the door, but make sure that he's kind of like turned and at least looking in their direction the entire time that he's crossing the room.
They have eyes on you as you move. They make no movements towards you. You're able to open the door into what you can see is a hallway that seems to move in a zigzag pattern toward the north. It goes north a little bit, then it goes east a little ways, then it goes north again. And whoever's the last through into this hallway would see as they stay back, the Garrulon holding back all the others, even as you close the door behind you.
Cantriel would have waited until everyone went, and then would have been the last behind.
All right, Talmud leading the way along this hallway that's little less than 10 feet wide, but you go for about 10 or 15 feet north, and then 20 or 30 feet to the east, and another 20 or 30 feet to the north, where you see a single door in the wall at the end of this hallway. You open this door into a large half-circular room. The room extends nearly 40 feet in either direction and is another almost 40 feet across to a set of double doors. A tremendous roaring pillar of fire burns in the center of this half-moon-shaped chamber. The fire almost reaches the ceiling, some 40 feet high in this room. A mosaic pattern of abstract design is tiled on the ceiling, though the tiles are extremely burnt, and the pattern is all but eradicated in places. The floor is covered in ash and charred bones, It almost appears to have drifted up against the walls in places. In some places, most of it appears to be a foot deep, but in some places the drifts of bone and ash are 2, 3, and 4 feet high. This room stinks of burned flesh. What would you like to do?
What is this?
Not a pleasant room. There's no other doors in here?
There's a set of double stone doors 40 feet across at the pinnacle of the circular wall.
There's there's a rather large set of other doors across the way there. They look like they might be important.
Jake, is that heartbeat sound and getting louder?
It has been getting slightly louder the further down you've gone. You had almost forgotten about it until the stillness of all of the crematorium storage, for lack of a better word.
Right. Fig, is there anything magical in this room? Is it going to try to incinerate us if we walk through it?
Fig will nod and will cast Detect Magic as these little small spheres that are made of these cogs kind of on these invisible pieces, or these very almost hair-like pieces of string kind of go out as these things kind of fly out into the room. And you can see that if there is magic, these little silk strands would ping these different colors that Fig would hold. Does he detect any magic?
Let's see what we have here. There are a couple of places under the ash to the sides of the room that are glowing with the indication of something magical. One is about 15 feet to your right, and into the room a little ways, under a mound of ash. Another one is 20 feet off to your left, partway through the room.
What is the school of magic?
Enchantment.
So Fig, in response to the round, you would see these like pings of this bright, almost green tint just flow down the string, and he points in that direction in both of those places, and just, I believe that is enchantment magic.
Can you tell what it's anchored to? Is it an object or simply on the room itself?
Yeah, he would look. So I can see if there's like a faint aura around any visible object.
Yeah, the large object seems to be to your right. Seems to be about 2 feet by 3 feet, but not very. Doesn't have a lot of depth. It seems to have a flatness to it. And the object to your left is small, maybe 8 to 10 inches, with a slightly spherical shape to it.
Okay. And they're visibly glowing, or just that Fig can see?
Just that Fig can see.
All right. If Fig points them out, can I see them at all?
You would not be able to see anything visible. From Fig's perspective, they are under mounds of ash.
See.
Are they? Sorry, I don't know if you said this. Are they? They're not like right next to each other. Or are they like
No,
one? Like
one
they're
is
offset?
one
Yeah.
is off to your right and into the room a little ways, about 15 feet. The other one is off to your left, about 20 feet away, and into the room a little bit.
Yeah.
I will try casting Mage Hand and sending a little snaking tendril of spectral water toward the smaller of the two auras to try and brush some of the ash away to see if I can reveal what's hidden under there.
All right. Go ahead and make an investigation check with your mage hand.
Sure. I'm going to burn a golden die on that because that's sucky. 19.
Your mage hand is sort of moving in, grabbing and then picking up ash that just seems to sift through its hands, and does this 2 or 3 times until it actually finds hold of something and pulls out a glass bottle.
Bring it back.
The glass bottle has a red liquid. Where is it? There's a clear liquid in it with a bead of red liquid inside it. And as you're moving the bottle, as it's sort of floating with your mage hand, you see this red bead sort of it gets big and then it gets small, but it seems to pulse almost in time with this.
All right.
And as the bottle is floating towards you, the room grows incredibly warm from the column of flame in the center of the room. And I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw.
Crap.
Would danger sense kick in for this? A source that we can see.
Yeah, I think so. Because the fire has been in view the whole time.
+3.
What do we know for Thorgarn? That's an 11.
12. 2.
And danger sense didn't help. I rolled double 7s.
I got a 19, but I used a domain die.
Okay. So I got a 5 from Fig, 7, 10 from Drown,
At 10, Griveth +3.
18 from Talmud. Thorgarn, what'd you get?
11.
And Cantriel.
22. Do you want me to roll for Yesha too?
Yeah, please. Yesha is a +4.
So then she is a 16.
Well, I gotta check that because I think she's higher than a +4.
Okay.
Yeah, for dexterity saving throw, she is at a she is at a +7.
Okay, and then she would be 21.
So Griveth, Cantriel, and Yesha are all going to take 20 points of fire damage. Everybody else will take 40 points of fire damage as this entire room, the flame and floods the room.
I missed the description of who passed. I got an
Griveth,
18.
Yesha and Cantriel. It was a DC 19 saving throw.
You, Jacob.
So 40 if you failed, 20 if you passed.
Fig, you see him start to almost glow, like how metal does when it gets very, very hot. He almost begins. You can see even the joints begin to glow and almost like to solder a little bit in place as he falls, and he is out.
Drown is blasted back and is pretty horribly burned, but is still up. Is bloodied though.
We've got to clear this room. I'll grab Fig.
I'll help.
All right, hightail it out to the doubles.
Did you say Drown dropped as well? Or is he...
No. He didn't drop, but he got kind of blown back and is bloodied.
Did you guys grab the things that Fig pointed out?
I have the bottle.
Just
the other
the
one is
one,
still
the
in the
rest-
ash.
And we don't know about him, so.
Well,
Oh, okay. Okay.
a couple things happen. One, as you all brace yourselves to grab Fig and run, Cantriel, you notice that the fire is no longer contained in the furnace in the center of the room and has a massive, nearly as big as this 40-foot tall chamber, vaguely humanoid shape to it. The other thing that happens as you collapse down into the dust, Fig, you see the beautiful bioluminescence of a valley of glowing mushrooms and other exotic plants filling your vision below you. You realize that you are standing on a narrow rocky pass above this vast canyon. A sudden cracking beneath your feet gives way to a chunk of rock breaking away from the natural bridge over the canyon, causing you to slip. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Just Fig. This is just Fig.
Oh, it's Fig, even
Yeah.
though Fig's down. Okay.
Yeah, this is Fig having
Oh,
another
boy.
vision.
He's on another vision walk.
Vision class.
To try and not
No
fall
more
down
drugs,
the mushroom
Fig.
hill.
However, Fig, you
No
will
more
be
drugs for
using a different modifier.
I rolled a 19.
All right. As you feel yourself begin to slip, an instinct, both foreign and familiar, takes over. Without even thinking, as though it were something you do often, you push off from the rock in a leap, and you feel an immense power guide you through the air as you bound to the other side of the canyon, gracefully arcing over the valley below. As you set down on the other side, having leapt an immense distance, you look back over this valley of bioluminescent mushrooms, just barely registering the cavern ceiling above your head. You are firmly on the ground, but you feel a pit in your stomach and a burning sensation. You feel like you're falling, and that, Fig, is where you fall unconscious, collapsing into the dust. A plume of dust and ash and bone rises around Fig. And next week, we're going to roll for initiative versus this massive fire elemental and whatever else is going on in this room.
This is fine.
Nothing like, starting a battle with,
Also
everybody
take a
down, a lot of hit points, and one person unconscious. It's great.
It's fine. Fig will come back and fireball it.
Exactly. Fireball the fire elemental. All right. Well, Fig seems to be having these fugue states a little more frequently. And you all are in a bit of hot, I was gonna say hot water, I guess not really hot water, but for some reason in my head, I just started hearing Uncle Jesse summarizing like in the Dukes of Hazzards. I don't know why I just caught that in my head.
The boys sure seem to be in a lot of trouble this time.
Yep.
How are they going to get out of it this time?
I should have named Renaud Roscoe P. Coltrane. This is, well, yeah, as I said, we will be rolling for initiative next week in session 12 of season 4. And we'll see what happens there, as Fig is already unconscious, Drown is in bad shape, and everybody else is taking quite a hit. Yesha's not looking very good either. What's that, Ted?
I said I only have 24 hit points, so
Yesha doesn't have much more than that. So we will see next week what's going to happen here. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in tonight. Lots of people that have followed the channel. Of course, thank you to David Blue, who rated us. David Blue, one of the players in V's by invitation only on Tuesdays over on the Gilding Light channel. An amazing cast over there in this 4-episode arc. You said the finale is this coming Tuesday?
Is this Tuesday, and we're doing a Warlock Tiles giveaway.
Definitely going to want to tune in for that. And thank you to I believe it was Gaz2742 that gave you guys a domain die with some cheer bits early on. So thank you everybody who tuned in tonight, and all of you silent folk lurking in the background, not saying anything in chat. That's fine. Just thank you for being with us and enjoying the show. And I want to remind everybody that tomorrow night you can tune in at 10 p.m. Eastern to catch CFTRPG's The Curse of Strahd. And on Saturday, you can tune in to Master the Game on YouTube, where I will be playing another session of our Descent into Avernus with Juice as our GM, Nate from WASD20, Luke from the DM Lair, and myself along with Paula, who is I always forget, she's got a new handle and it's like Awkwardly Nerdy or something like that. Her and Juice do a lot of miniature painting on their channel as well. It's Juice's wife Paula, but we'll be playing that over there. And then on Sunday, head over to the Talent Sunday night. I don't even know what time. It's like 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern. Head on over to Talon and Claw's Twitch channel, where I'll be crewing up with the folks with Talon and Claw and a couple others for a couple hours of Sea of Thieves, some good old high seas piracy. But you can always hit ! schedule and see what else we got going on the channel. I genuinely do appreciate all of you that join us each week and each stream. We really do love seeing you there. Poke around, push all the buttons here on Twitch, see what leads you where. Donate to things, buy some coffee, check out the merchandise. Just follow the channel. And check out all these awesome people on their various social medias. Everybody here has some pretty cool things going on. So be sure to check all those out. And of course, as always, thank you to Scotty, Dan, V, M, Ted, and Jeremy, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 3 hours. We're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
And I have one living on my island now.
I love you.